so much of the relationships and the partnerships here are built on the foundation of trust because so many of the brands that we are working with are regional in skew. They really are institutions unto themselves down here. That we always at Omnicom would say, an extension of your client, and you are partner. And again, all true, but a little bit of hyperbole. But I can tell you, every single client that I spoke to, probably for the first 4 to 6 weeks, we barely spoke work. It was about, learning about me learning about them, what was their journey. They all know, you know, my family already, I know theirs. It's just a very different dynamic. And that was another, going back to one of your earlier questions about unlearning some things, is in New York, you tend to get right to business and it's a bit more cutthroat. There's plenty of that down here as well. But really, that relationship thing is not a nice to have after the fact. It is central to the strength of the relationship with clients. So I have to rebalance that. And my tendency to get on calls and get right to it is not the way you do business with a lot of the businesses that we attract. And I think that balancing is part of my re-education as I get out of New York, if you will.
It's got to be a little refreshing too, though, right? I mean, when the faster we move and the more we use tools and the more we automate, and I love those things. Those are fantastic. But once you really make a connection with somebody, that's such a powerful thing. And I think it's underestimated. So it's good to hear that you're going through that. And I can only imagine that being part of the process.
I said it, and this was before Luckie was even on my radar, is that clients are buying people and energy. All of that other stuff, yes, you got to have MarTech. You got to embrace AI. You have to have all the skill sets to deploy. That's kind of cost of doing business as an ad agency. But at the end of the day, I think clients are going like, I feel inspired when I get off the call with that agency. I feel like I can call them when the proverbial, what hits the fan. It doesn't feel like a shallow relationship. And again, even at Merkley and Omnicom and, all of my brethren across the country at different agencies, it's that same thing because it sounds fluffy and it's hard to wrap your hands around tangibly what that means. But